There have always been legendary kickers, guys who just give you this sense of excitement when they step out on the field. They get lined up from ridiculous distances and you know that the odds of this kick going in are low, but that's your guy, so you don't worry about the odds. I think this moment can be perfectly summarized when the Raiders had legendary kicker Sebastian Janikowski in just crazy circumstances where a coach is trying to get himself fired, line up from the opposite 42 for a 76-yard attempt. And if you didn't know what's going on, you'd probably just chuckle and wonder what the hell this was, but then a Raiders fan would reach out and put his hand on your chest to stop you from going to the concession stand. Wait, Seabass has got the leg, they would tell you. You'd be confused, but looking around, everybody's on the edge of their seat. Holy shit, they're raising the net behind the goalpost. Is this legit? And the ball would come up 13 yards short. But that's aside the point. The point is that the aura from Sebastian, the faith he gave his fans, is something that only the most legendary of kickers can do. Hell, I know the Browns have had kickers that would have you sweating for every extra point. But no matter how good you thought your kicker was, the debate around the best kicker to ever do it has never been so non-existent than during the reign of one man, Justin Tucker. But you can get in on the action too with Underdog, the easiest place to play fantasy sports. And if you sign up with my promo code today, you're not just getting the best fantasy sport experience, but helping your favorite football YouTube channel out. Using that code will also get you a free pick, plus you can get a deposit offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash. And what better way to use that cash than on Pick'em, where you pick whether your favorite players will have a higher or lower stat total in this week's game for a chance to win big. Yes, it's just that easy, and you can win up to 1,000 times your money in a single night. And if you sign up right now, they are going to throw in a free Tyreek Hill pick. I mean, it doesn't get much easier than that. And I just love how easy it is to use Underdog's app. So don't punt on a good time. Click the link in the description and come play today on Underdog. Now, I've already made a video about Tucker's incredible impact on the game, so if you just want the history lesson, you can go check that out. But in brief, Tucker became the best kicker we ever saw in historic fashion. He burst onto the scene in 2012 with a 90.9% field goal percentage, connecting on everything from 50 plus, only to be followed up in 13 by one-upping himself as he connected for 92% of all attempts, including a 61, as he was proving to be one of the best in the league at this time, seeming to be this weird cross between the power of Matt Prater and the finesse of Vinatieri, with a clutch streak like no other. But notably, after his hot out the gate start, he hit 2 years of turbulence, where his make percentage was dropping down to 85% after the injury of star long snap Morgan Cox. Then in 2015, he would decline again to 82% as he notably struggled for 50 plus, only going 4 from 9 from this rank. The notable here is that this was during Sam Cook's best year as a punter. And while this may seem like a slight stretch, to be the best at this level, you may have to be paying closer attention to the punting portion of your job than the holding portion, which could cause that fall off. Which is a great way for me to talk about what I think the key to Tucker's success was to begin with, and that's his supporting cast. And let me just say this, Tucker just doesn't become Tucker without these two men I mentioned. Sam Cook may have become the most famous for his knuckleballs, hook punts, and banana balls, but when I think about his career, what it really showed us is the importance of having a good hold. I mean, we should have all known it, but when you just watch his adjustments to snap, his ability to delicately place the ball down in the exact spot it needs to be at the perfect angle and tilt every single time to allow Tucker to execute, it's just poetry. And while other kickers have had to live through a carousel of punters around them, like the great Mason Crosby, who definitely has had some adverse holds in his career, having somebody like Cook, who isn't just a good holder but dedicated to being the best holder in the league, is the exact role player you need if you want to have a Justin Tucker-esque kicker. So when the whole gang got back on the same page that it was Justin Tucker's time to shine in 2016, my god, did he clean like a passer's forehead on Easter Sunday morning. I'm talking about a 97.4% make, as his only missed field goal came off of a block against the Patriots. And from this year forward, this trio of players would consistently be the best single unit for the Ravens, breaking records, saving games, and only dropping below 90% twice in the 5 years, with an 89.7% make percentage in 2018 and 2020, with the absolute apex of his career being this record-breaking 66-yard field goal to win the game against the Lions, literally literally utilizing a new form that could only be executed with a perfect snap and hold, as he tried something new in a game to break an unbelievable record. But in 21, the boys would be breaking up. Morgan Cox would be replaced by his COVID stunt double in Nick Moore and would make his way to Tennessee, where he's still there. And in 22, the Ravens would draft punter Jordan Stout, and the writing was on the wall for the future of the Cook-Tucker combo. And that offseason, Cook made it official and retired. And I don't think anybody could have predicted what comes next. I'm just playing. I actually knew exactly what was coming. And I'm not just saying that. I made a video about it because I knew that losing Cook was going to do more to hurt Tucker's long-range kicks than anything else so far, on top of the fact that he's also just getting older to begin with. So I predicted that there was actually going to be quite a drop from going from Sam Cook to Jordan Stout, even if Jordan Stout could eventually adjust. And while his drop was less drastic than I predicted, it was still there. Those long kicks became less easy to make, going just 9 of 14 as he dipped all the way down to 86% on the year. And usually he bounces back the next year, but 2023 wasn't the turnaround that people was hoping for, as he would go just 1 for 5 from 50 plus with a season long of just 50. And the thing that extrapolated this performance was the introduction of another potentially unprecedented kicker in the NFL. So before we go further into Justin Tucker's career, let me introduce the man who makes Tucker's fall off seem much faster and more brutal than it probably is, and that's Brandon Aubrey. Now, to say he burst onto the scene may just be the understatement of the century. His 2023 season opened with a completely ridiculous streak as he went 16 games without missing a single field goal, and in those 16 games, it included some ridiculous ones, like him landing 3 50-yarders, including a 60 against the Eagles, knocking through a 58 against the Rams with ease, and another 55 against the Jets. In fact, this whole season, he didn't have a single miss from 50-plus yards, which further showed the divide between him and the old lord of kicking in Justin Tucker. But a down season for Tucker and a record-breaking season for Aubrey, that wouldn't change that much, would it? Well, enter 2024. Aubrey wouldn't even let us get through the preseason without everybody being amazed, as he knocked through a 66-yarder that got called back. But the big difference is, Aubrey didn't need Tucker's famed shuffle step. He would tie the record with all natural leg, and it wouldn't stop in the preseason, obviously, but his incredible consistency would only continue when he opened up going 4 for 4 like a Wendy's order against the Browns, while knocking through 2 from 50 plus, which includes a 57-yarder. Oh, he also hit a 66-yarder again that got called back, and this time the Cowboys fans were actually mad they didn't let him try the 71-yarder. Then against the Saints, he hits 4 more with a 52-yarder on his resume before, my God, it was gonna happen. The battle of the two kicking prodigies, the up-and-coming challenger taking on the GOAT, like Vinatieri taking on Tucker in the playoffs back in 2012, which ironically was one of Adams' worst years. But this time, the story was very different for the two kickers, especially as coming into this game, Tucker was doing anything but shining as bright as Aubrey was. His first game, he would go 2 for 3 as he'd miss from 53, and it wouldn't end there. The following week, he would miss 1 from 56 against the Raiders, who would go on to win by just a lone 3 points. So, coming into this game, he was 5 for 7 compared to Aubrey's 8 for 8, and Aubrey was going to just make history right in front of him on his first kick, as he comes out and becomes the only kicker to hit a 65-yard field goal. Yes, it's shorter than Tucker's was, but it easily had more leg to it, and was just as deadly accurate. This was also complemented by another easy 51-yard field goal to end the half, and as the Ravens were getting closed in on by the Cowboys, Tucker would be given the opportunity to put the game further out of reach, this time with just a 46-yard field goal, and he missed. And missed bad, which kick-started, no pun intended, the comeback for those Cowboys, and ultimately led to the Ravens barely winning 28-25 after having a 28-6 lead most of the game. But this kick, more than any other kick, cemented in the minds of America that Tucker, as it stands right now, is the best to ever do it. But assuming that Aubrey stays on this trajectory, we are officially out of the Justin Tucker era and on to the unbelievably unprecedented career of Brandon Aubrey.
From Aubrey is up and in.